For decades, the moon was treated like a dead world, a silent rock hanging in the sky, explored, photographed, mapped, and then forgotten. Humanity walked on its surface, planted flags, collected samples, and moved on. At least that's the story most people know. What rarely gets mentioned is that the moon never stopped being studied. It simply stopped being talked about. The missions kept coming, the scanners got sharper, the data got deeper, and in that data, something enormous has been hiding in plain sight. Beneath its ancient dust, beneath billions of years of impact scars and frozen shadows, the moon contains something that quietly changes the entire future of space travel. Not a structure built by intelligence, not alien ruins, but something far more valuable. A massive underground tunnel system carved into the moon itself. A discovery so significant that it doesn't just explain what the moon is, it explains what the moon can become. NASA didn't announce this with a press conference. There were no dramatic headlines, no viral clips, no cinematic trailer moment. The truth revealed itself in the most modern way possible, slowly, quietly, hidden inside radar scans, gravity maps, and mission papers that only specialists were reading. But the implications are bigger than most headline discoveries could ever hope to be. Because these tunnels solve one of the greatest problems of long-term survival on the moon, they may be the reason humanity doesn't just visit the moon again, but stays. To understand why, we have to forget the moon we think we know, and look at the moon beneath its surface. Billions of years ago, the moon was not cold, quiet, or lifeless. It was violent, molten. Its interior churned with magma. Ancient volcanic eruptions reshaped the surface. Lava rivers flowed across the landscape, just like they do on Earth. But the moon is different. It has low gravity. No atmosphere, no rain, no wind, no erosion. On Earth, the landscape slowly gets erased and rewritten by weather and time. On the moon, history stays frozen, which means if something formed there billions of years ago, it can still be there today. And when lava behaves a certain way, it creates something almost unbelievable. Imagine a river of molten rock flowing across the surface. The outer layer cools first, forming a hardened crust like a shell. But the lava inside continues to move, still hot, still liquid. Then, when the eruption ends and the lava drains away, that shell remains. What's left behind is a hollow channel, a tunnel, a volcanic artery that once carried fire, now filled with darkness. These are called lunar lava tubes. For a long time, scientists assumed these tunnels were small, interesting geological features, maybe useful for robotic exploration, but not relevant to humans living there. That assumption turned out to be dangerously wrong. When modern orbiters began mapping the moon, they weren't just taking pretty pictures. They were scanning in layers, topography, surface composition, temperature, radar penetration, and gravity. And in some regions, the data didn't behave like solid rock. Gravity dipped slightly. Terrain appeared stable but light beneath. Certain craters and pits formed in ways that didn't match impact physics. That's when scientists started to suspect something hidden below. Then came the images that changed everything. Perfectly round holes in the ground. Not the jagged, chaotic scars of asteroid impacts, but clean openings like skylights. In some cases, you can see the shadowed interior drop straight down into darkness. The surface looks intact until it suddenly isn't, like a roof collapsed into a massive hollow space underneath. Entrances. And once you have entrances, you can start calculating what they lead to. Researchers used the geometry of these pits, surrounding terrain and structural models, to estimate what kind of cavities could exist below. And the numbers were shocking. Some lunar lava tubes may be over 100 meters wide and stretch for tens of kilometers beneath the lunar surface. To put that into perspective, entire city blocks could fit inside them. Multiple football stadiums side by side. Skyscrapers could stand upright without touching the ceiling. These aren't caves. These are underground worlds. And if that sounds like science fiction, remember, nature builds bigger than humans do. On Earth, there are lava tubes large enough to fly a helicopter through. Now scale that up with low gravity and no erosion for billions of years. The moon had the perfect conditions to preserve something enormous. But size isn't even the most important part. Protection is. The moon is one of the most hostile environments humans have ever faced. There is no atmosphere to block radiation, no magnetic field to deflect solar storms, no protection from micrometeorites traveling faster than bullets. On Earth, a shooting star burns up harmlessly in the sky. On the moon, it becomes a weapon. A grain of sand-sized fragment can puncture equipment like a rifle shot. Radiation is the bigger nightmare. Cosmic rays, solar particle events. A single powerful solar storm could deliver lethal exposure to unshielded astronauts. Over time, background radiation damages DNA, increases cancer risk, and degrades electronics. And then there's temperature. Lunar surface temperatures swing violently, scorching heat in sunlight and brutal cold in shadow. The day-night cycle isn't like Earth either. A day on the moon lasts about 2 weeks, followed by 2 weeks of night. That means extreme heat for 14 days, then extreme cold for 14 days. Survival on the surface becomes a constant battle against physics. This is why long-term lunar bases on the surface are a nightmare. But underground, everything changes. Inside a lava tube, thick layers of lunar rock act as a natural shield. Radiation drops dramatically. Temperatures stabilize. Micrometeorite impacts become irrelevant. Even the psychological experience changes because you're no longer living in a fragile tent on a dead plain. You're living inside a massive, stable environment that feels permanent. In one stroke, the moon transforms from a hostile wasteland into a place where humans could live not for days, but for years. NASA understood this immediately. Quietly, mission priorities shifted. Orbiters weren't just mapping the surface anymore. They were scanning below it, studying gravity anomalies, searching for subsurface voids, identifying regions where the crust could support permanent underground habitats. The moon was no longer just a destination. It was becoming real estate. And then China entered the picture. When Chinese missions began targeting the moon's far side and polar regions, many assumed it was about prestige, about flags and firsts. But those locations weren't chosen randomly. They overlap almost perfectly with regions where lava tubes and subsurface structures are most likely to exist. In space strategy, you don't choose a landing site just because it looks cool. You choose it because it has value, resources, stability, location, and future expansion. That's when the discovery of lunar tunnels stopped being a scientific curiosity. It became strategic, because whoever controls these underground spaces controls the safest places to live on the moon. And whoever controls that controls the future of lunar civilization. Building on the surface is expensive, fragile, and dangerous. Building underground changes everything. Lava tubes provide ready-made foundations for entire cities. They eliminate the need for massive radiation shielding. They reduce energy requirements. They allow pressurized environments to exist with fewer structural demands. Instead of building a protective shell strong enough to survive the moon, you move inside a naturally protected space and build your habitat within it. This is why many scientists now believe the first true lunar cities won't be visible from space. They'll be hidden beneath it. Inside these tunnels, humans could build habitats, laboratories, storage bays, farms, and power systems. Nuclear reactors could operate safely, shielded from radiation and impacts. Water extracted from lunar ice could be stored and recycled efficiently. Greenhouses could exist under stable thermal conditions. Industrial zones could refine metals from regolith. Autonomous robots could work continuously without needing to fight extreme temperature cycles. It stops being a base. It starts becoming a settlement. And there's another reason these tunnels matter: the moon's dust. Lunar regolith is brutal, sharp, abrasive, electrostatically charged. It clings to everything. It can damage seals, joints, airlocks, and human lungs. Every Apollo mission struggled with dust. Imagine trying to build a city while constantly fighting a substance that behaves like microscopic glass. Underground habitats with controlled airlocks and dust mitigation systems become far more realistic than exposing everything directly on the surface. The more you think about it, the more these tunnels begin to feel like the obvious solution. And then there's the next leap. The moon becomes a training ground for Mars. Because Mars also has lava tubes, and many scientists believe they could be even larger than the moon's. The same strategy applies: Build underground, shield from radiation, stabilize temperature, protect from storms. The moon becomes the place where humanity learns how to do it safely before attempting it on a harsher planet. If we master underground living on the moon, we're not just learning how to survive on one world, we're learning how to survive anywhere. This is why the discovery of lunar tunnels may be one of the most important space findings of the last century, not because it's mysterious, not because it's alien, but because it removes the final excuse, the excuse that humans can't live beyond Earth. We now know the moon is not just a barren rock. It is a world with hidden spaces capable of sheltering cities. The question is no longer whether we can live there. The question is who gets there first, and what kind of civilization will they build once they do. NASA knows this, China knows this, and the next phase of space exploration won't be defined by flags on the surface, but infrastructure beneath it. The moon's future isn't written in craters and footprints, it's written in tunnels. And for the first time in history, humanity has a place beyond Earth where it can truly stay, not above the surface, but beneath it. Because in the cold silence of the moon, the safest path forward may not be up in the open sky, but down into the darkness, where nature already carved out the first rooms of humanity's next home.